Good morning, Houston. Good morning, Houston. Good morning, Houston. Good morning, America. Whoo, we back at it again. More with Morris this morning. So, I got two big topics I want to talk about. I want to talk about why people are leaving Houston, saying 4 out of 10 people are thinking about just abandoning the city. That's a huge number, y'all. That's not a great number. Then number two, we got Anise Parker running for county judge. So, we'll start with number one. 4 out of 10 people trying to leave Houston. 4 out of 10 people do not trust that Houston can handle new emergency management. Okay. They're shaking in their boots a little bit because they don't believe the funding is there if we did have another tropical storm, hurricane, flood, or freeze. You can't handle none of them. And with the federal government pulling out of FEMA could lead to a disaster for Houston trying to do cleanup from now on. And I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, well, Mark, this state should have handled it anyway. Oh, Lord. Let me tell you one thing. If you take anything from the channel that I give you, do more research before you start saying stupid stuff, okay? Just do more research. And I don't want to leave the topic too long, but there was a topic that came up yesterday talking about I'm just feeding misinformation. First off, you will find nobody that gives you more information from multiple sources than me. And if you're going to tell me that you listen to Fox News and you think you are a better watcher of the news than me, I'm going to tell you, if you get your news from Fox News, you are stupid. You are not the smartest, and I know why the country is on fire today. Because you pander to what they got sued for $1 billion for. And had to pay it out because they lost. Now tell me what misinformation that I just feed you right there. You go to the court system, which you're not going to do. You're not going to read the articles that came out almost 2 years ago at this point about them being sued for $1 billion because they peddled fake news to all of you. But you're going to not listen to me because you're thinking I'm feeding you misinformation. I don't know where you're going with this, but I love it. Keep commenting, keep sharing, keep subscribing, keep liking, let's keep it going. So where are these people going? That would be the biggest question. Are you leaving the whole country? Because at this point, it's nowhere that's safe in America. If you leave Houston, where you can't go to Florida. Florida's just as bad. Horrible school system. Horrible governor. Healthcare reform. Trash. Transgenders rights. Do you have any in Florida? Don't know. It sounds horrible. But you got a Bible. You got that. Yeah, you get that. 10 Commandments. That's there. That's there. You go to Louisiana. Bad healthcare. No jobs. Hurricanes, tornadoes, just like Houston. I mean, and the Speaker of the House is from your state. So that's kind of like, why? You know what I mean? Why? You go to California. Now you're dealing with earthquakes, possibly some bad leadership decisions. Sorry, Newsom. Ugh. Um, Healthcare system is better, but now you're dealing with a huge homeless problem. Fires might not get no insurance because they're pulling out. I mean, I don't know. So I just went from one side to the other side. I don't know where you would go. Georgia's beautiful if you want to go to the mountains. So that's a thing. But 4 out of 10 people trying to leave Houston. Houston gonna have to do something. With the poor leadership of the horseshoe, everything around the horseshoe is terrible. I mean, like I say, it got some shining stars on the horseshoe. Don't get me wrong. It's just, I don't know where you're going to go when you don't have any money. And that's the problem that you had. You shelled out these huge contracts to all these unions. I don't know where you go from that if you're not creating more money. Opening Houston up to more business. I mean, where did that get you? That got you broke. So what do you start pandering to? I had a conversation the other day that Houston needs to start focusing more on families. So more parks and more greeneries, more attractions. Because back in the 80s and 90s, I had Six Flags, and that was a huge hit for me in my day. Like, that's where everybody met in the summertime. Now, I mean, I don't know if that sways people to stay. You have to worry about, you do have to worry about FEMA. You do have to worry about emergency management. And cutting funding in departments didn't make any sense when fire police does some rescues, but not all rescues. They're not the only people working doing a flood, a hurricane, all this other stuff. And you cut everything else that were supporting them to get things done. So I don't know where you go from that. It's not if a hurricane happens, it's when it happens. It's not if a flood happens, it's when the next flood happens. So I think people were not thinking future. I think everyone is considered about here and now and pandering to the fire department, the police department, and then giving pennies, nickels, pennies, and dimes to the civilian employees because everyone has a stereotype that city workers don't work. Only police and fire really gets things done. But what the truth is, without the city employee, nothing else works. The central function is the city worker, then everything else works. Until the phone call is made that a civilian picked up first, does a police officer go out? Does a fire truck go out? So there are civilians doing that. If you want to run and crank the police car or the fire truck, it's a civilian that does that. They check the lights and sirens, but they don't work on the lights and sirens. That's a civilian that does that. So if you want the lights and sirens like you've always had and you've always will be, you got to have a civilian that's a mechanic that works on that. So I wish people's mentality would switch on to what is necessary and stop feeding into what people tell you is necessary. When people tell you, oh, police and fire are very necessary. Well, it's something more necessary than that if you deem them necessary. So, getting to Annise Parker. Annise Parker used to be the former mayor of Houston. She did. Oh, okay, Joe. I don't know how I like this. You've been gone almost 20 years at this point from politics. You opened up your own foundation. We give you credit for that. You ran for governor, lost terribly. I don't know what you're wanting out of this deal. We have somebody younger. We have somebody brighter. We have a shining star in the Democratic Party that's actually holding Harris County down. Would you fight Governor Abbott for voter suppression laws? Probably not. But Lena did. Would you pick the brightest and best attorney general for the Harris County? I don't think so. But Lena did. I know most people are not going to say this, but to me, Anise is not a Democrat. I mean, her voting record don't seem it. I mean, don't get. I just want you to look it up. Look up the voting record of Anise Parker. See how she treated Houston. She is the tycoon that brought more business here and basically let everything else kind of mid. You know, she kind of mid. You know, it's nothing that she pushed that helped Houston along enough, except for Montrose. You know, that's a claim to fame. It's Montrose. You know, I don't know if that does enough for me. I don't know if that warrants a vote. When I can have somebody newer, younger, more hungry. I mean, your career's. I mean, I don't want to be ageist now. You know, I don't want to be ageist. I'm just saying that you've been gone a minute. Why come out of retirement? Basically, you've been in retirement this whole time. Why would you come out of retirement, run for county judge to do what? I don't know. It's a bigger plan now. I remember Whitmire saying something about he wanted to get a couple of $1 million out of Harris County for toll road authority. Is that a reason why Anise is coming out of retirement? So the city of Houston can clear up a couple of $1 million? Friends doing friends favors, right? I don't know. But what I'm going to tell you is, I'm going to tell you like this. From 1 to 5 on the scale, 5 being the highest grade I could give this, to 1 being just a hard. No, I'll go all the way to 0. Go 0 to 5. Go 0 to 5. 0 means that that's terrible. There's no way of thinking about it. To a 5, if Anise wins, this is a 0. Doesn't move the needle for me. I'm just gonna tell you that. Houston is already terrible as it is. It don't need no help at the moment because we already got a terrible mayor. He shuds out money left and right to people, and he basically bankrupts the city every time he opens his mouth. To have another person that would do the exact same thing in the county, I don't know what we get out of the deal on that. It's a whole bunch of spending. And the sad part about it is Anise knows numbers. At least John's like, I don't know how to count, but I've been in the legislature for 50 years. He got one of them things going on. So I don't know what this does for the greater Houston area besides put us in a worse position. We're already terrible when it comes to the federal level. We're already terrible when it comes to the state level. You would be terrible at ISD level. That's your school district, so you're failing that. Now you would be failing at the counties. Come on, man. You can't have all these fuck ups in a position like this. It's just too many fuck ups at this point. You got to have somebody to hold the rails to this thing. And I think Lena is the best person to do that. I need somebody that's going to clean up Houston. I needed more green, more technology friendly, willing to innovate the Houston area. Well, I'm hearing things coming out of China that's crazy. And I feel like Houston should have been a part of every move of that. Every move of that. More greenery, more technology. We should be leading everyone. Every major city, we should be leading. All of a sudden, we're looking like an afterthought. How big does 2 years make? How big does 2 years swayed you when you were going to surpass Chicago in population? You have 4 out of 10 people willing to wipe away and leave Houston. That's not a good sign, y'all. That's not a good sign. But like, subscribe, share, comment. Give me your thoughts. Give me your thoughts. Give me your thoughts. And stop with this, Morris. You need to show me proof. Show me proof. Show me proof. How about you do me a favor? How about you do me a favor? If you're going to comment every time I say something, show me proof, show me proof, show me proof. How about you show me the proof that you're right? Because there's a lot of other creators that come on here and show you proof, and you still don't listen to them. So I'm not here to show you proof. I'm here to give you information that you need. Now, if you want to show me something that you found that you think I'm wrong about, you can do that. I have no problem reading it. I have no problem reading it. But the problem is that everything I report on, multiple sources has backed this. I give it up to the Roland Martin Show. I thank you for that, good sir. I thank you for feeding us news every day. CNN, thank you. I know you've been on a rocky stage for a second, but you know, you got to do what you got to do. TYT, I thank you, even though you're kind of turning the corner that I don't know where you're leaning right now. I don't know where you're leaning. I need you to be a little bit more progressive with your commentary and be a little less shucking and jiving where you need to shuck and jive. Love Anna. Love Anna. Love seeing Anna. Love Anna. Stop shucking and jiving, though. Tell the truth where it need to be told at. Tell the truth, shame the devil, and be done with it. So, I will see y'all maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day. I don't know. Depending on how the news go. I want all my protesters. I want you to stay safe. I want you to understand the laws. I want you to go out there. I want you to be the change that we need you to be, because you are the person who will change America. All the destruction must come with a change. Don't destroy with no change. Have your minds made up about what you're trying to accomplish. I want there to be a goal at the end of this. And I want everybody to go home safe. And I want everybody to go home secure. So make sure you do that every day. So I tell the family goodbye. I'll see y'all.